Blasphemy.
Freebird. Coming to you not quite live from Peanut Desk Studio, a Birdie Records production. I think that it's an understatement these days to say that MTV is pretty much a shell of its former self. But I don't want to just focus on this episode. I know it's called The Rise and Fall of Music Television. So of course we're going to have to talk about MTV predominantly, but we're also going to touch on music television as a whole. There was a point in the 80s when MTV first came out. You know, they had to have a whole campaign, you know, like, tell your cable provider I want my MTV and all that. And they played predominantly rock music. They were very music centric, and they were a good outlet to a youth that was searching for this new medium, because music videos were very new at that time, and they were very revolutionary in a lot of ways in the music industry. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, they were.
I don't mean
they were around as it is. I mean, before MTV and stuff like that. But
I mean,
they
like
were, they were more of a like, you know, Saturday Night Primetime type of thing. They're like, oh, a new music video by, you know, Bee Gees or whatever. And you know, so yeah, music television in a whole, like MTV and stuff. It was
the Beatles had like music videos out going back to the 60s and things like, and I'm sure there were examples even before that, around that time. You know, like Elvis's Jailhouse Rock came out before that too.
No, but I mean that they had music videos, but it wasn't really a music video. What they had was like, you know, Ed Sullivan Show would have music people show, like, you know, live shows on there, whatever, television, late night stuff. But they did have music, like television, or not music television, but videos on certain things that they would broadcast, like in whatever. I'm not too sure because I'm not that old. But I mean, the 60s, 50s, whatever.
Full disclosure, we're both speaking as, you know, this is stuff we sort of grew up with as it was already there. MTV came out in 1981. Both of us, though born in the 80s, early 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
We're really more like 90s alternative kids. But we're aware of a lot of the history that goes with it. So that's what we're discussing retrospectively.
But and like I was saying, music videos have been around, but MTV and stuff like that. Well, MTV was the first to literally be a channel just for music
television.
Videos and television,
Okay, well, let me put this way. The importance of music videos to accompany the full package is something that came along around this time, and it's a supply that MTV met.
Yes.
As it's gained prominence around this time, and it became really a necessity for a lot of artists in order to get the music distribution out there. Whereas, 10 years prior, you could make your entire focus just the shows, you know, getting your LP out there, you know, and you can establish your name that way. It became a mainstay of being part of the music industry that you would utilize this medium, you know, video. You know, is that a better rephrasing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's
okay.
Yes.
Well, what I really want to go at, so the way MTV first was, like, they would play a lot of the music on there, and it would serve as a tool to bring prominence to a lot of artists that may not have had distribution, because MTV was also trying to make a name for itself at times, so they could be more daring. They could play artists that may not have known. Like, they were, in the early years, a lot of the music was much harder than what it was. I mean, they went through several stages. First, it was like rock music. Then they had a lot of Michael Jackson, you know, rhythm and blues, pop things. Then when there was the boy band craze, and there was sort of a gangster rap craze, and there was again, they went back to sort of a pop thing. But I don't want to focus too much on that. The thing I really want to go into is how, from what it used to be a good source of music availability for kids. Like, you could go there and you can listen to it and, you know, get your fill of various different tunes you want to listen to. But then gradually over time, more and more, they started sort of eroding away the music, and it became more of a variety hour thing. The VJs, which, you know, MTV invented the term VJ. they gained more prominence and it became more celebrity and it became more, what's trending in celebrity culture these days, whereas it wasn't in the past. And now that's pretty much all that it is. It's just reality shows.
Yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. I mean, when Sweet 16 came out, that was pretty much already.
Yeah,
that was already dead. But that's like signal. That was the full
all
death.
music television channels like MTV and VH1 and Fuse Music or Move or whatever
Fuse
it is.
TV.
Fuse TV. I mean, they changed their name a couple of different times, and they at one point did just do music, and then I guess their that niche kind of just fell out, and so they wanted to keep going with their business, and so they changed it into like Sweet 16 and stuff. I mean, yeah, at times when MTV first started, they not first started like music stuff, their videos, but like their reality TV and other stuff other than music television. I mean, they had some stuff that was actually pretty cool and
the original True Life was
True Life
was pretty good. But never like
stuff.
True Life, I'm homeless. True Life, I'm a drug addict.
I mean, they had some cool stuff to throw in the mix,
and
it was
the
like,
animated
okay, cool.
shows too. Some of the early ones.
But I mean, they did those later on, late night stuff. So they spent most of their time doing music videos. But that stuff, True Life and Sweet 16 and all that, they started to just take over the airways, and MTV turned to more of a from music television to just ads and shows. It's not really any music stuff. And so MTV2 came along as like, oh well, we're doing more music videos on that one, and that one quickly changed to more shows, not really music videos. And VH1, they had for a while. They actually had music going, but they also had the Where Are They Now stuff and whatever. And so
behind the music,
behind the music stuff. And I mean that was
is that still around?
I actually don't know, but I mean VH1 had that thing, and I think they were doing that before MTV even started doing their little shows. Yeah. But I mean they had something going with it, and but they still did their music videos, but they were, in a sense, when they started, more of a going for the older crowds. They didn't play such young music, like you said, Michael Jackson and stuff at the time in the 80s, in the late 80s, early 90s was, the younger cultured stuff. They'd play more like Phil Jackson.
There's a reason for that.
Not Phil Jackson, but,
With the precursor to
Phil Collins. That's it.
Yeah. Around the same time, a little after MTV was founded in 81, Ted Turner founded the precursor to VH1, which played more classic. He thought he was going to make money off of that. Within a month, he decided it was costing him more than it was worth. So MTV, or Viacom, bought that station and they turned it into VH1, but they kept the same basic format.
Yeah.
So that's why it's sort of stuck on that. But I think so we can all agree that all these music stations, channels, they all follow the same basic evolution, and they all end up in the same point. Some of them took longer, some of them took maybe they went off left field a little bit and then turned it back, but they all sort of ended up on the same place, which is they started out playing whatever niche music that they wanted, and of course they changed every now and then, but they started out focusing more on the music videos in particular, and then slowly they became something completely different, reality shows, things of that nature. And in turn of their creation, it created another phenomenon, which is sort of the nostalgia effect a lot of people feel towards, let's say before MTV circumcised DM out of the name and just became TV, essentially. A lot of people our age sort of go back and they remember, I remember back when MTV played music. Now, it's a joke. But I'm thinking because they all follow that same gradual evolution, is this something that was unavoidable? Because think of, you mentioned Fuse TV. Fuse TV is fairly recent in this whole field of channels. Yeah. And it came out, and when it first, when it was officially Fuse TV, its big marketing advertisement was always, they would show some, reality show thing, and then they'd be like, what, this crap replaced music videos, and their countdown shows, the top 10 countdown that they would have, would at first in the first year or so, if you watch it, pretty much just the music videos. Then there would be a host over time, and the host, though still there, like the early MTV VJs, would be there just to introduce the videos.
Yeah.
But then they introduced more interviews. Then they introduced more like just talking about the music. But then slowly but surely they would introduce shows like the Sauce and which is similar to Total Request Live thing, and they would introduce shows like the PA, which is similar to any other reality show that you have on there on MTV or VH1, and Fuse end up in the exact same spot that all the other ones is. Now, the reason why they did that, you can make the case that it's because the market forces them to do it. Because in the digital era we live in our generation, so everything is one click away, one button away. When you have something like Headbangers Ball, where they will play, which was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Let's just get that out of the way before anyone says anything else. So you have a show like Headbangers Ball, where nostalgically we can look back and like, oh yeah, I learned, so introduced me to a lot of music. The Unplugged shows with Kurt Cobain, were very important to get alternative music started into the mainstream. When you heard, when I can imagine some suburban kid sitting there, and then Smells Like Teen Spirit came out that first time, and they're like, it just opened their eyes to a whole new dimension of music that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
So we can all nostalgically look back on that. However, I can so much easier create a playlist of all the songs I want to listen to, where I don't have to sit through an hour-long show listening to songs I kind of know, songs I kind of like. Oh yeah, that song I really like. I don't like that song. And then, oh yeah, that other, and then 2 songs later, another song plays that I like.
Yeah.
So could it just be that the nature of the way music is presented now, the way it is available with the download culture, with the online culture, with the digital generation that we are, digital savvy generation that we are, is there really a place for something like music television? Because even TV has become a bit obsolete. With
all the different type of internet streaming channels you can get into and so on and so forth. Yeah, TV kind of fell down. Music television, it's the same type of thing as you were saying. I mean, yeah, with the creation of video sites and music sites where you can watch videos and things like that. Yeah, music television, MTV, VH1, all that, it's kind of obsolete now because you can go and watch whatever video you want, whenever you want. But I think it is kind of sad that they have changed their format so much, because I think they kept the format that they did, maybe change it up, modernize it and stuff like that, but they still have music television playing, and not at 3 in the freaking morning like they do on MTV and VH1 and most of those other ones.
Why did they even bother with that?
I don't know.
Why did they even bother? What's the point? Who the hell is even like, man, I'm really itching for some music videos at 3 a.m. in the morning. If I'm hit with a bout of insomnia, I'm not really thinking, I wonder what MTV is playing right now. That song from 1998, I really like it's sorry, sidetrack, but I don't see why they even bother with that. But okay, so you're saying that it didn't need to go this way, like they could have kept that same sort of audience.
Yeah, I think if they
just get lazy,
I think
or they just went for the easy money.
I'm not too sure. I think it could be that they just kind of don't want to even try to get it going. They're going for the easy money, easy way out in a sense. But I think if they went back kind of to that format, yes, you still do a little bit of shows that they have on, things like that, but still introduce videos and have time for video stuff. They can introduce more artists to people again, younger audiences, or people who just got used to listening on a certain style of music. Mm-hmm. It's because they don't really want to go out there and like, oh, well, who's new, what's new, whatever. Because MTV and all those other places, they did introduce music that at some places you can't get that music on the radio and stuff like that. So you'll see a video or song of an artist, and you're like, oh, I really like that song. Then you look for them, you figure them out, stuff like that. So I think if they kind of went back to playing videos, music videos during an actual good time of day, any of those channels, they would actually probably get more viewers. They would get a little bit more, money in a sense, I guess. But yes, it is obsolete for now. For the fact that yes, there is music streaming channels on the internet.
And look, we're not even like suggesting to them what kind of genre they should be playing, because I like I said, there have been phases of MTV when they predominantly play music I couldn't care less about. I'm pretty sure they're going to play whatever is most popular, like most of the the top 40 radio stations do and things like that. But I think they would also be too afraid nowadays to lose the audience that they have, the people who who want to see the reality TV shows, the people who have sort of the teenagers who have grown up on that kind of MTV in the last decade. It would be sort of a shock. I'm sure they know about the history and all that, but they're so far removed from it that it's kind of. I mean, I feel like I'm so far removed from this point. It's a distant memory in my head. Like I can't really remember what the entire format was, except that I think I liked it better. But that could just be the nostalgia effect of playing it.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know how much of it nostalgia that we're thinking back on and trying to remember. It's like, oh yeah, I remember, I was a 14-year-old, watching TV, watching videos, and then it interrupts. Kurt Loder pops on. And he says, Kurt Cobain was found dead in his apartment, which to me was shocking. I don't think any other news station covered that, but they popped up and you're breaking news, whatever, and, going on to, things that they did do that they could have kept on, like MTV News isn't even there anymore. They still have I think a little spot to where some of the people mention stuff, but there's nothing really big there. But sorry, I got sidetracked. I think if they, the videos that they did play in genres, you're saying, not stick it just to one. They can do it like they did, like they had MTV Raps and, whatever else. They had the Total Request Live for everyone to do their stuff.
Which also you can see Total Request Live. You can sort of see through the years, the amount of airtime they gave to the videos. Kind of like it follows a gradual de-evolution of MTV. They used to play more of the songs. Some songs that were cut, but some of them were popular ones they play almost to entirely. Then it became less and less and less and less and less. And that's just how they went through all the videos. Because they all request shows that they had on. They would play 2 or 3 full videos. Other than that, it was like, oh, here's the countdown. Number 10 is blah, blah, blah. All the way up to 4. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to watch a video. It's like, what happened? Yeah, what happened to the also? I didn't like the format. That's one of the reasons why I didn't really like that show. The hosts, look, nothing against them, but I really couldn't care less what they think of anything else. I wanted to be like, well, you can play a stupid song. I don't need to see the audience cheering at everything. Clapping. But going back, you brought up an interesting thing about, you mentioned Kurt Loder and MTV News. And Kurt Loder, prior to his time on MTV, late 70s, early 80s, he was a respectable music journalist. Back when music journalism meant something. Nowadays, music journalism is like, oh, let me review someone's CD and that's it. But, this is back when you could say with a straight face and it wasn't a joke. And MTV was at the forefront of bringing credibility to music journalism, whether it was covering, Kurt Cobain's suicide or anything else that came at that time. You could say with a straight face, I got my news on music from MTV. Nowadays, if you said it within the last 15 years, you get laughed out of the building. Building for that. So I'm like, I don't know, there's a certain level of sadness when we talk about this, because I feel like we've lost something that maybe we didn't need to lose. And I don't know whether or not we can come back, because like I said, a lot of us have sort of become jaded, whether we've just moved on, or we can, I can get it better, to the digital format. And a lot of the younger people they don't really want to go. Like I said, they're so far removed from it. I don't think they would even know what to do with it. But if we turn back the clock a little bit and go to, the late 80s, early 90s, when this sort of format dominated, when you had, I think, they kind of peaked with a really good balance of music. And like I said, when we mentioned something like MTV News,
Yeah.
there would be a time frame whenever that slot was on when there wouldn't be music, but it was still music relevant. It would be people who knew what they were talking about in the music field, predominantly.
Yeah.
It would be people that you can listen to and people that you knew earned their slot on that spot. Kurt Loder would be the best example. Somebody who brings some air of respectability. And nowadays, on any music, channel, any music conjunction, even when they would have like concerts, I think the Live Aid concert used to have a lot more credibility than it does now. I don't even know. Does MTV still cover that?
I actually don't know.
They used to be really big on that. I haven't heard any news about it. If they're covering it, they are not advertising that all that well.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that level of credibility that they used to have, like people who knew what they were talking about. Nowadays, when you listen to a music DJ, it's almost in the back of your head, well, this person is interchangeable with any other person there. As far as the credibility goes, they were probably working at some other channel doing something else. I mean, you can plop him out of that. You can put him, on as that TV guide host. Put him on the E channel. Put him anywhere else.
Yeah.
Say anything. Put him any other script. It doesn't make a difference. What they're talking about, they probably don't have a clue what they're talking about. If they have a clue, everything that they're saying is dumbed down to the point where it doesn't make a difference whether they as an individual know anything about the subject, because it's been dumbed down to be just thrown away at people, so like a sort of crumbs of information.
Yeah,
to make it easier to digest for them. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're mentioning it. You mentioning that, like, the personalities that or as they're called, the VJs and stuff that were on like all the music channels. You can pluck them out and you throw someone else in there. That brought up my thought of Carson Daly. He was the host of Total Request Live for a while. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened, he left and he got a whole new show on a different channel, late night stuff, to where he had artists and he interviewed them and he did videos and had them play, and he's still stuck with it. Now he's the host of The Voice. Yes, dealing with music, but he's gone through the ranks of music and the music industry in a sense. But how much does he know? That's always got my curiosity on any of the people. It's like, how much do they actually know nowadays from back then? I mean, I can always bring up Matt Pinfield from MTV. Mm-hmm. He, astonished me with how much information he knew about any artist that got thrown up there. They mentioned something, he would just bust out, give you a little history behind who they are and what they came from and stuff like that. And that actually inspired me not to just want to play like music and be in the music industry and do stuff like that, but learn it, like become a musicologist, as they say, to know more about the aspects of what should be done for music industry to make it something successful, how to, manage a band and know something more about them. It's hard to say, or hard to understand why I would get that idea from just how Matt Pinfield talked about artists and stuff. But that's kind of how I got it. I don't want to just be some guitarist like, I can play guitar. Yeah. It's like, I want to be able to play guitar, but I can also mention artists who inspired me, and not just because of their playing, but because of different things they've done, and a little history behind of the artists and stuff like that.
Well, that's one reason why, like a lot of people, we live in a culture of cynics. Everybody, the idea of being intelligent now for a lot of people is who can say the funniest sarcastic comment at a time. So that's why, like, when someone says something about MTV, like, oh, you used to like MTV? Yeah, fuck you. Yes, I did. And like, so what? Then probably so did you. So you can go to hell. No, but but the point that I'm trying to make is like, you're like, well, I don't know why that would inspire me to. That's why I say, like, back when it had that sort of a format, back when it had that sort of a presence, that sort of dignity to it, respectability, it could trigger something in the youth that's watching it that could get him interested, that could lead him down a path I don't know, but I feel like this whole topic is just kind of sad. It's sad to talk about. I know you brought up The Voice. We're gonna have a whole episode about where I talk about my issues with the talent show culture of music, but that's probably gonna better suit as a topic for another day. And while I'm pretty sure neither one of us really said our piece or last word on this, we've started penning the eulogy, and we'll probably revisit it some other time, another place, another life. All right. See you guys next week.
See you guys.